So good evening, class.
Good evening, sir.
Okay. So let me check the register. So Peter King, are you there?
Yes.
Yes. So Josephat, are you in?
Yes, I'm in, sir.
Bogere, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I see the class is. We can continue. So are you able to see my shared screen?
Yes.
So if you are able to see, can continue. So in our previous lesson, we landed to define the term entity. So we said an entity is anything that can be stored in a database. For example, in a school environment, you can have a teacher, a student. So those are the entity that can be stored in a school environment. Now, so today, I want us to look at the attributes of these entities. So by the end of this session, you should be able to define the term attributes and state at least 5 attributes of a database system. And you should be able to explain each of them, and you draw it in a diagram as we shall be able to discuss. So without wasting time, I want us to start defining what's an attribute. So I like giving out an example. So in my table there in the screen, you can see that we have a table which has a rows and a column. So the attributes are those values that can be stored from, I can say that can run from left to right. And we have the rows which are sometimes known as records, which are running from the top to the bottom. So I have an example there of a school that maintain a data of students. In the table, you can call the table student. So in the student table, you can have the student ID, the student name, and the student age. So all these, the 3 of them, we refer to as attributes of the entity student. So class. So all those attributes that are aiming at describing the entity or giving the characteristics to the student by giving the student ID, the name, and the age, we refer to as attributes. So those are the attributes. Now, let us look at that can be given to an entity. So who can read us some of the attributes that we have in a database management system?
So we have composite attributes, single valued attributes, we have key attributes, derived attributes, multi-valued attributes, and finally symbol attributes.
Good work, Josephat. Good work, Josephat. So let us describe each of the attributes that was mentioned by Josephat. So we can immediately start with multi-valued attribute. So when I say a multi-valued attribute, what do I mean? So these are attributes that contain more than one value. For example, you can have more than 2 mobile numbers. For example, we can have a number for Airtel, you can have for Safaricom, and you can have for Telco. So when someone asked, or when someone asks, when you wanted to store a value of someone who have a mobile phone with more than one value, we refer to as multi-valued attribute. Then someone also can have, another good example is an email, where someone can have more than 2 emails. So when you have more than 2 emails, you can refer that attribute as multi-value. So that is all about multi-valued attribute. So we can go to key attributes. So when I say a key attribute, these are attributes which can be identified uniquely in the entity set. For example, in a school environment, the students are given an admission number that uniquely identifies each student. So we refer to student number is referred to as a key attribute, which identifies each student uniquely in a database. So that is a key attribute. So we move to our next attribute, that is symbol attribute. So when I say a symbol attribute, it has atomic value, which cannot be subdivided further. For example, a student roll number is an atomic value. So when I say an atomic value, it can never be subdivided into any other attributes. So it is a student, only that student number is uniquely, and it cannot be further subdivided. Another attribute is a composite attribute. These are attributes that have more than one symbol attribute. For example, student complete name may have 3 names. So we can have the student can have 3 names or 2 names. So the first name, the middle name, and the last name. So the name student can have 3 names. So the name student can be referred to as a composite attribute. Then the address can have components like street, the city, the country, or the state. So the attribute address is referred to as a composite because it can be further subdivided into street, the city, the country, or the state. So our next attribute is derived attribute. So from the word derived, from the layman's language, it is derived from something else. So the derived attributes are the attributes that do not exist in the physical database, but their values are derived from another attribute present in the database. For example, age in a student should not be saved directly in a database. Instead, it can be derived. So the age can be derived from the date of birth. So from date of birth, we can derive the age of a student, or the age of a teacher, or the age of a person. So in a database, if you have the date of birth of someone, which is 19, for example, 1990, so we can derive the age of that person, and we can assign 22, that 1990 is 32 years. So in a database system, you draw a circle with a dotted one to show that it is a derived attribute from the key attribute. So we have our last attribute, which is a single valued attribute. So these attributes contain single value. For example, all attributes that are single valued attributes can take only one specific value. For example, we can have the age. So the age cannot be further subdivided. The roll number cannot be further subdivided. It has a single value. So the single value, it means it cannot be, it is the opposite of the composite value. So it has only one value. So we can see from the table that the roll number is 1, the age is 1, the date of birth is 1, and the gender is 1. Unlike in our previous composite, where the name can be further subdivided into the first name, the middle name, and the last name. So class. So today we have learned about the types of attributes. So members,
today we have learned about.
Okay, I can say today we have learned about the types of attributes. We were just moving and you were giving elaboration over the database system, and that one has really helped me, sir. As for now, I can identify types of the attributes and I know where to apply them. Thank you.
yes, so we have learned 6 types of attributes. That is the composite, the single value, the key attributes, derived attributes, multi-values, and the simple attributes. So we say that simple attributes are those values which can store one value, and we say composite attributes are those attributes that can be further subdivided. So key attributes are the one which you used to denote the primary key, and then the derived one is that one which can be derived from another one. For example, the age can be derived from the date of birth. So I've seen that all of you have participated, and I've seen that you have learned something today. So before we come to the end of our lesson today, I have an assignment for you guys. So I want you to describe the following types of attributes: the null attribute and the stored value, attribute. As part of the types of attributes that are found in the database management system. So in our next class, we will meet and we shall look. I want everyone to come with something so that we can see what do we mean by the remaining 2 types of attributes, that is the null attribute and the stored attribute. So is there any question, class? It again. Yes?
There's no question.
No question, ma. So I hope you have enjoyed the class. Huh? So if there is no question, next class, you can enjoy your evening.